Welcome to the Transformative Pathways Podcast with your host, Jason Doby. Join Jason as he explores the many ways to unlock personal growth, mindfulness, and spiritual transformation. So now, please welcome the host of Transformative Pathways, Jason Doby.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the show. I'm your host, Jason Doby, founder of Transformative Pathways Life Coaching. Thank you so much for joining us today. Before we dive in, I just want to give you a heads up about something brand new I'm releasing next week. It's called the free 5-minute stress test, and it drops on Friday, April 25th. It's a quick self-assessment that's designed to help you check in and get real about how stress is showing up in your life, mentally, physically, and emotionally. Based on your answers, you'll receive a personalized breakdown of where you're at, along with a few support tools and a practical action plan to help you move forward with more clarity and confidence. It only takes 5 minutes, and it's a powerful way to reconnect with yourself and take the first step towards feeling more grounded. So if you've been feeling tense, reactive, or just off your game lately, keep an eye out for it next week, as I'll be sharing the link everywhere once it's live. All right, now let's get into today's show. So our topic for today's episode is the gift inside the pain, finding power in negative experiences, with our guest, Bennatta Zen, who is joining us today from France. Beanatta is a life and leadership coach who supports individuals through deep personal transformation, emotional healing, and the path to mindful leadership. Originally from Denmark, now based in France, Beanatta's journey began in the academic and political world, where she earned a PhD in political science and worked within the European Commission and the Council of the European Union on leadership and organizational development. After experiencing the effects of unresolved childhood trauma and chronic stress, she began a path of deep inner healing that awakened her intuitive gifts and transformed her work. In 2011, she left her high-level career to follow her true calling, helping others heal from the past, reconnect with themselves, and lead from within. Today, Beanatta offers 2 distinct programs, one focused on energy healing and emotional coaching for individuals impacted by early life trauma, and the other designed for managers and leaders in international organizations who seek to lead with mindfulness, clarity, and authenticity. Her approach blends deep emotional work, self-discovery, and leadership development to create lasting transformation. Beanatta, welcome to the show, my friend. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you.
It's wonderful to finally meet you.
Yes, me too. Really.
Yes. Yeah, fabulous. So I'm so excited to have you on the show today. To start things off, I would love if you could share a little bit of your story, what life was like before the shift, and what led you away from your career in the European Commission and the Council of the European Union to follow your path into healing and coaching.
So you want to hear about the shift from at my work level? Is it that, or is it my childhood?
Yeah, wherever you want to start. If you want to start with your childhood, that would be great. Yeah, I guess that's like 3 questions in one. So.
So yeah, I had a childhood that was not the best. Um, I can illustrate it with that most of my life, when I came home from school, I would go very slowly towards the door. I would take the door handle very, very light, and I would open it very slowly to sense how is it today? What mood is my mother in? How is the energy in the house? So it was a childhood with a lot of fear. Um, I was abused sexually when I was a younger child from my father. Not He was obsessed with me. He would tell me as child, "Oh, I should have married you," he would say to me. And when he died, the only thing he wanted with him was a big photo of me. That was the only thing. So he was he was obsessed with me. But I had some very good years with him at the end after my mother's death. So it was kind of clarified, so to say. But um, it during my whole childhood, I would keep it inside. For example, at 11, I can remember I was lying in my bed and saying, "Oh, I should go to the police. I should, I should announce my parents." But I said, "No, it's a bad idea. Then I would be without parents. So it's no, I'm not going to do that."
Mhm.
And I remember also that almost every evening I would sit and say, "Please let me become adult very quickly. Please let me come away from here." So that was my childhood. And it was only when my father died that I felt a kind of, now I'm allowed to look at what I have been living and to start healing it. Because it was my father's death, okay, it all came up, all what I had been living with him. Uh, he stopped when I was 12 years old. So it was very the young years that was going on. And I worked on it. And when I'm healing on myself, I am I am first of all looking into what has it done to my body. If I put my hand on like this, I can sense what is going on energetically. What is happening? What are the words coming? What are the images coming? And I did that, and I also read a lot about what is incest doing to children. How does it influence them? So I also had the, can I say, the scientific level with me because I wanted to understand it deeply. So that I was doing, and then when I came into the European Commission, after some years, I was severely harassed by a director who reminded me of my mother. So it all exploded totally inside me. I could no longer function. I started to go to a psychologist and I went there 3 times. I didn't like it because I had a feeling that I was just doing all the work myself. He was asking questions, but it was questions I could have asked myself easily. But then he did something that really stopped it, and that was I think it was the purpose also, in fact, for me. He said, he asked me some question. It was very tough. I was crying like hell. And then he said, "Okay, 45 minutes has passed now. We stop." And I was crying, fully crying. I was standing on the street afterwards, and I was crying. And I almost not, I don't know how I got home, but I decided never ever again. And that was really where I started working deeply on myself because my mother, what she did to me was very diverse. One thing, I have no fingerprints. They were burned away. Um, And so the funny part with that is I cannot use technology. Modern technology today doesn't work for me. And when I go to the embassy to have a new password and passport, and they ask me to have my fingerprints, the machine is saying, "No, it's not a human." So, okay, maybe not. So, um, and my mother also said awful things to me. She told me that, "Oh, you should only concentrate on your career. You will never have a man that can stand you. You will never you should never be have children because you will be a bad mother." So it was very diverse. She also had the belief that if you beat up a child before it's 2 years old. You don't need to raise it. You don't need to educate. So she had been doing those things. She was proud of telling me that. So it was very diverse. All the things that was working inside me. I had her voice. I had all her 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 bad things, and I was sitting in the evening, every evening in that period, and saying, "Oh my God, my life is destroyed. I will never have a good life. I will never. It's over. You know, I cannot function, and so on." So I worked on the healing, and it was there I discovered that I had my healing gifts. From childhood, I am psychic. I could see into people. When I was a little girl, I could go and say to my neighbor, "Oh, you have a very bad disease. You're not going to live long." And I had no idea where it was coming from, and it scared me. So that took me away from my spiritual path when I was a young girl, and also later when I was teenager and when I was a young adult. I didn't want to have anything to do with it. I was so afraid of it. Um, but it came up at that time where I started working on myself. It all came back. I could I could see things, I could heal, and so on. So yeah, that was the shift in the childhood for me.
Wow, thank you for sharing that with us. What an incredible journey you've been through.
Yes, but it has a
Wow.
good thing.
Yes. Yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
It's good. Yeah, so good for you for, doing all the work and coming out on the other side. I can't even imagine. Tell me a little bit about your time working in the European Commission and the Council of the European Union, and what was that like, and why did you decide to give that up and get into the coaching realm?
So the commission I was not so happy about because there was awful many bad managers. But the good thing about that was that it gave me a chance to observe. I really observed people in there. And I noticed one thing, and that was when they hadn't done the work on themselves, they would put their life story on other people. So they were treating them as they had been treated during childhood, for example. Also many people in the European institutions are expats, as myself also. I did not stay a long time in my country, not because I don't like Denmark, but because of my family story. It was like I just needed to get away, out. And there are many in there that has this. So it gave me a chance to observe leadership. I also worked a lot on modernization of the organization, and yeah, in itself it was interesting, but I was not so happy there. It was also during the time where I had this healing story going on.
Mhm.
And then I came to the council and I continued to work on organizational development, modernizing, and had to lead a big project. And there I got a chance to test what I believe in leadership. Because for me, leadership is that it's not about you. It's not an egoistic. You are not to show off as a leader. Here I come. I am the boss, and so on. No, you are there to motivate your team members to feel well, to do a good job, to be happy. So to inspire, motivate, you can have a vision that you want to share and that you are listening actively to hear what do they think about it.
Mhm.
So so yes, I like that work very much. I didn't leave because um, because I couldn't do anything else. No, I could have stayed. I could easily have stayed. But what happened was that I was in charge of well-being of staff also. So somehow people got to know that I could heal and that I could coach. So they came in the lunch break and said, "Can I have a little healing? Can I have a little session with you?" I said, "Yes, of course you can." And I liked that very much. And then one day there was one that asked me, "Would you mind if I could come home to you an evening and have a longer session?" And I said, "Yes, why not?" And so they came, and I liked it. And what happened was that I started, um, I started having a feeling I earn a lot of money in this job, and I do my work, but I work more. I get even higher results to the other work. I had a feeling I contributed to more by
Mhm.
doing this. And that was why I decided, because it didn't feel well to go somewhere and work and not having a feeling that it was the right work. The real work was happening in the evening.
Mhm.
And then also I had broken my kneecap, uh, and I had awful many physical issues during my time in the institutions. And my doctor said to me, "You know what? You will not be well before you leave that place because you are not at the right place. You have other capacities." And he was right on that. So that was why I left. And the first day I did this coaching healing work, I said, "Wow, am I working? Is this work?" Well, that's fantastic. I have no feeling I'm working.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I love that. I love that. I love what you said about leadership too, because I used to notice that when I was working in a kitchen, I'd look up at some of the chefs I worked under, and a lot of the chefs I worked under were like European trained, so they were pretty tough chefs to work with. But I remember, you know, I from a lot of them I learned what not to do, and I would tell myself I'm never going to be like that when I'm a chef, or I'm never going to treat people that way, or I'm never going to talk to people that way. But the way that you explain leadership, that's exactly how I would explain my leadership when I was a head chef. And I used to think that there was something wrong with me because I was so compassionate about people, but just bringing people up and trying to get the best out of people and keeping people happy. But in the cooking world, that was kind of looked at like you're a weak chef because you're supposed to be tough and you're supposed to be. But I think times are changing a little bit around that, and so I really love what you said there. And I'm curious when you talk about these healing sessions that you used to do. Can you talk about that a little bit? What does that look like? Like, what is a healing session?
So I'm psychic. I can I, I can see uh, into people what they have been living.
Hmm.
Um, I can, how can I say, I am clairaudient and I'm clairvoyant. I had many strange experiences during the time. I have learned now to say, "Oh, okay, okay, okay," but I can tell you that later. So what I do is I do a mix of coaching, healing, and mindfulness. So for example, when I have a person that has a traumatic childhood or very negative experiences, I will look into the person. So I close my eyes and I discovered I can do the same on the screen. Uh, but normally, when people are coming home to me, I will put hands up and do things to sense energy and so on. So I close my eyes and then I can see, and then I will ask questions. I'll say, what is that? I see a little girl, very sad, sitting, and then there is your mother who is standing with the back to you and is not noticing you. What is going on? You know.
Mhm.
So I allow uh, my clients to tell with their own words what are they living.
Mhm.
Um, totally as they feel it. I listen actively to them. I will then say things that are coming because then words are coming to me that I need to tell the person that can help removing the blockage. Now, one thing I do a lot, for example, is after we have been working a bit, I will tell the person to say, I love myself. If you can imagine how difficult it is for many people to say that sentence, they say,
Mhm.
no, 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 I can't. Oh, no, no, I don't want to. Uh, uh, you know, like that. And I said, yes, do it. And then I put my hand on the same time. I connect because I can hear when the truth is coming, when they are really feeling it. Because in the beginning, they will say, yeah, I love myself. No, you don't. I love myself. No, you don't. So I can hear it. So I ask them to say it until, yes, you do. And already that will give a shift inside them.
Mhm.
Then I tell them what I sense, what I hear, what I see, and so on. But there's one thing I'd never do, and that is don't believe me if you don't feel it. For me, it's very important that the person have the sense of what I'm saying. And because if they have that, it would also have a healing effect.
Mhm.
And then what happened is I send energy. I can send energy into the person and things will change. But as it is with healing, is you don't heal in one session. You heal a layer. So
Mhm.
I remove one layer and then they will have some reactions. It takes 4 days where they will have thoughts coming in and it will work inside them. And then it will be then they will be fine. But then the next level will come up soon after and it will be needed to work on it again. That's how it works. You know, I have not learned this. It's all inside me. I have never had a healing course. Yes, once, but I couldn't. You know, the person was saying, you have to put your hand there. I said, no, 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 I have to put it there. And because I could see it, I have
Mhm.
not learned it. I have no book. It's all inside me. So everything is intuitive. The words are coming, the images are coming. And yeah, I have helped many people with changing around their life. I have people coming in that had, they say, I have a depression. I have had a depression the last 8 years. But no, can't see that. But I can see there's something working inside you. And the depression was gone.
Wow, that's incredible. And at what point of your life did you realize that you had this power or this ability. You mentioned that you noticed when you were a child, but then, when you got a little bit older, at what point did you notice this? Like, it must have been a little bit kind of scary at first, trying to figure out what was going on.
It was scary when I was a child, as I said. I was sitting in school. I was maybe 13, 14 or something like that. And suddenly a voice, I had geography, was saying, your mother has a very severe cancer. She will die in 3 years. Nobody had told me anything. I didn't know anything about it. And so I went home and completely said, Mother, why haven't you told me that you have a cancer? You will die in 3 years' time. She was totally shocked. She knew she had cancer, but she didn't know that she was going to die in 3 years. And it happened. She died in 3 years. So
Wow.
when I realized I could heal was when I started on myself. It was when I didn't have this psychologist anymore, and I was left to myself. And yeah, I just started putting my hands on my body, and I could, because I knew I had something, I knew I was able to see things. So I started in that way. I was meditating, for example. I
Mhm.
was also a Buddhist, and I was meditating, and it was through the meditation that, yeah, I got all the information about what was going on inside my body. For example, that I saw I was not happy about being a woman because it was scary. You are weak as woman. You can be treated as men want you to treat you, and all that was coming up from my childhood. For example, I saw that inside my body. So a lot to heal.
So that's incredible. So your own inner healing, you just kind of use your own gifts and your own intuition to kind of unblock your blockages and peel back the layers, I guess.
Yeah,
As you said.
yeah,
Oh, that's
yeah.
incredible. And you said you were a Buddhist for a time as well?
I am.
You are. That's incredible.
Yeah, I am a Buddhist.
I got really interested in Buddhism right before my first daughter was born. When I started meditating and learning about mindfulness and Buddhism and stuff like that, to the point where I wanted to move to India and become a monk, or move somewhere and become a monk. But I had a baby on the way. I remember saying to my wife, and she's like, "You're not moving anywhere." But I felt like maybe in my next life I'll be a monk.
I'm
But
thinking the same.
maybe not this one. Maybe not this one. That's amazing. I have a question here from one of our listeners who
Yeah,
wrote in the who wrote in the live chat, and she said, "You have such a beautiful gift. Can you give me any advice? Can you give any advice to someone who is struggling to access their intuition?"
yeah, I can because I did the same. I decided to do some walks. Just go somewhere with the tram or the bus, and then find my way home without a map. Oh, in the beginning, I ended up in most awful neighborhoods, but in the end, it went well. I did also something else, buying vegetables and fruits without looking at them, just sensing. Is that good or is it bad?
Okay.
Because it's really a way to train your intuition,
Hmm.
to sense, okay, should I now go to the right, to the left? Should I continue forward? And so on. You just do that. It's all about that. And one thing I also do, I still do it, is when I want to know the answer of a question, I ask the question and then I ask, is it raining or is it sun? Because if it's raining, it's no. And if it's sun, it's yes.
Interesting. And so when you ask a question, like, what does that look like? You ask a question and you just wait to hear the answer in your head, sort of thing?
Yeah, I ask a question and then I close my eyes and then I will see if it's sun or if it's rain.
Hmm. Interesting. Yeah, I've tried to do that a little bit myself, but I think I just get in my own way. I overthink it maybe, and I just need to kind of let it go.
Mm,
But for me, I feel like my intuition, I can feel a lot of things in my body, and I can feel like vibrations in my body and up my back and stuff
yeah.
like that at certain times. My body vibrates a lot, so I kind of use that as my yes and no sometimes. When I feel the strong body sensations, I feel like that's my yes. Um, but yeah, it's very
Have
something
you
I'd like to
tried
try more.
have you tried putting your hand
No,
on a place on your body, close your eyes
no, I
and
haven't.
look in? How do you feel?
That's something I'd like to practice some more, I think. Yeah, I'm not sure. How do I feel? I guess I feel a little bit nervous doing it right here. I think I want to practice it some more.
But can you remember some time ago I said we should have a call because
Hmm.
I, s- I really sensed in you that that is something you are able to look and see some things. You can develop this intuition.
I feel like I can sometimes, and just when you said that, I could feel it in my body. So my body's telling me yes. So yeah,
Mhm.
no, I'd love that. I'd love to schedule a call with you at some point. I'm going to make a note here. Yeah, we should do that because I remember we talked about that one time, but you were very busy.
Yes.
So yeah, I forgot about that. But yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you for reminding me about that.
Oh, but I'm happy. I'm so happy to be connected with you on Instagram, and it's fantastic. You know, I love your videos. I don't know how you do it because I can't do that, but you are so great in videos, and how I have been following you and seeing how you have created your whole branding, all
Hmm.
your posts, you know, these Wednesday, Friday posts. I love them. I
Thank
love them.
Yeah.
So yes, it's and also your story is also amazing, really. So yeah, I'm really happy.
Thank you, and I appreciate that. And at one point, I was gonna stop doing the Monday motivation and the Wednesday reflection and the Friday thing because I thought no one's watching this, no one cares about this. But
That's
then
great.
I decided to keep going. But that's that's what I do, and that's what I'm here to do. So you know, people are seeing it, um, and also, I would like to say thank you for all your support along the way because there was a lot of times where your support really kind of helped me keep going in times where I was feeling down because this whole social media thing can be very
Oh yeah.
challenging, daunting thing, and I
Oh
just
yeah.
started I just started posting a year ago, and I was terrified, terrified, and I'm over my fear now. So now I'm working on just doing better quality stuff and my video editing, and I just upgraded my microphone, and so I'm just trying to get better and better every week. But
Mm,
sometimes I don't see my progress, and I worked with a communications coach. For 12 weeks right before I started this podcast. And near the end of it, she showed me one of my videos from a few months before we started working together, and another one from the present time, just to show me the difference, because I couldn't really notice it myself. And I was like, wow, I couldn't believe it. And I remember she said, like, see this video? There's a wall in front of you in this video, and now the wall is gone. And that was the hardest thing, was getting rid of that wall. And, because I'd be so scared what other people think or what other people are going to say. But once you're able to get rid of that wall and actually just be yourself, and that's when that's when the real magic happens. So that's what I'm striving for now all the time. So thank you for that. Yeah, you've helped me a lot. Your kind words have helped me a lot when times where I definitely felt down.
They came from the heart.
Thank you. Yeah, it's so amazing how we just met randomly on the Instagram when I started that little group of all the coaches and everything. Is that group still
Yes,
together? Okay, cool.
yes,
Yeah, I felt
it
bad.
is.
I was getting too stressed out because I had too many groups and too many things going on, and I just felt that
Yeah,
it
I
was
understand. But
kind
they are very sweet people, and of course, all of us are in the situation that we cannot always be active there, but then we come back and find each other. They are
Mhm.
very sweet.
Yeah, and I still am in touch with everyone from that group, and I've had a few people on the podcast here too. So, and that was a
Yes,
big thing
I
for me
saw it.
too. Like, I had an idea to like start this group so we could all support each other to grow our social media. And then I remember after I started it, I was like, wow, I started this group with all these people from all over the world. Like it just made me feel really good about myself, because like, I'm the type of person, when I want to make something happen, I can make something happen. I can organize things.
Yeah.
I can be a leader. I can do this. So that was a pretty powerful moment. When I get the idea to do something, I just put all my energy into it and I do it. So
And I guess it comes also from your former job, no?
yes, yeah.
Being a chef.
Yeah, I still am a chef, even though I'm not in the kitchen anymore. People still call me chef. So
Mm,
once a chef, always a chef.
mm.
Um, I guess next I want to talk about mindfulness a little bit. You talk about mindfulness a lot, so I'm just
Yes.
wondering, what does mindfulness mean to you, and how do you incorporate it into your coaching?
Yeah, but mindfulness in my coaching, I use for the person to feel themselves
Hmm.
when I'm working on them. And then I also, it's a part also of learning to live differently. So I also ask them to do mindfulness in their private life, which is a bit more difficult. But in fact, mindfulness isn't difficult.
Hmm.
It's having the mindset. For example, where before I started all this healing and all that, I was the kind of person that would schedule my day. You know, I have to do this and then I have to do that and so on. What I do now is that I sit down and I say, okay, what should I do now? And then the answer is coming in, and then I do it. And after that, I ask again, so what should I do again? And I do this, So that's how my day is. Uh, Mindfulness to me is really going with the flow,
Hmm.
really sensing yourself. And there's one particular exercise that I think is so important, and that is to sense your breathing.
Hmm.
You're working, you have a lot of work, you have a lot of pressure. You stop, say, okay, how am I breathing now? Oh no, that's not good. So you take a break, close your eyes, and you take 3 times a deep breath, really breathing deeply. After that, you will feel totally different. The stress will have been gone and you can continue your work. That is so important because it's a way to, first of all, ensure that you will have oxygen to your organs, but it will also help you on stress.
Mm-hmm.
So that is an exercise that I will ask people who's listening to this, please do that because it's so simple.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so simple. And that's the with my meditation practice for the past 10 years or so, like my favorite meditation is just a silent meditation focusing on my breath.
Yeah.
And like,
But sorry,
no,
please
you go ahead.
continue.
No, you go ahead.
What I wanted to say is that mindfulness is so simple because it's simply about be aware about yourself, be conscious.
Mm-hmm.
When I'm cooking, for example, I love cooking. I don't have your capacity, but I love cooking. And for me, when I'm cooking, I am working on the taste. I never use any receipt. I
Mm-hmm.
work on the taste, I work on the color. It's like for me painting,
Mm-hmm.
and I am totally in it. There is nothing else is coming, no other thoughts, nothing. I'm totally on the cooking. Also, for me, cooking is love.
Mm-hmm.
When you love the person you are cooking for, you cook very well. You do your best. So that's mindfulness. When you walk, you suddenly will start paying attention to, but how am I walking? How does the body work when I'm walking? That is also mindful. For example, also in the morning when I'm waking up, I go through my body. I sense, okay, how is my feet? How is the energy there? How is it in my knee? How is it in my stomach? And all that before I get up.
Mm-hmm.
That is also mindfulness. So I have what you can call a mindful lifestyle.
Mm-hmm.
And that is the next thing, going with the flow. In general, I don't worry. I say, okay, let's let's see if we will get there, or if I will, for example, if we are in somewhere and we are looking for parking and say, okay, it will not be possible to find a parking. I'm sure it will. Sure it will. It's yeah. You do what you can in your life and you let the flow. I trust. I trust that things will happen. And if they are not happening, there's something else in it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the same when something negative is happening. There is something to look at, to
Mm-hmm.
learn. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that perspective. There's always something to learn. And I've been practicing mindfulness for a long time, and I'm at the point now where I feel like I like to say that I'm like awake in a dream. I try to be mindful through my whole day, and it's a lot of practice, and it's a 24-hour a day practice.
Mm.
From the time I wake up, from the time I wake up, I try to be mindful of what's my first thought, what am I thinking, and it started too with trying to like awareness of my thoughts to change my limiting beliefs and that. And I was just aware of what's going on in my head all day. I want to be aware of what I'm thinking because I want to be in control of what I'm thinking. And then I will practice it in moments throughout the day. But, sometimes we forget and we get carried away, but I try to practice it all day. And yeah, I like to say it's like a lucid dream. It's like I'm awake in the dream and it's really cool.
Mm.
Like you said, like
But it's
walking down.
yes, it's also a way to, how can you say, stop negative thinking.
Mhm.
Yeah. You can have negative thoughts. You say, no, 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 I don't want to have them. But why? Go away. Go away.
Yeah.
I don't need you. Oh,
Oh,
it's
you
my
still
mom
have
again. Okay, out.
Yeah, you still have them. Sometimes I have thoughts and I'm like, where is
Right.
that coming from? No, thank you.
Exactly.
They're always coming. So,
And that was another thing I also wanted to say is that yeah, you heal your story, but it doesn't go away. Sometimes I have it today, like I don't think about what I have been living. It is healed, but it's not going away. It's still there. Sometimes you can come in a situation, for example, I can read a post on Instagram. Yeah, I have some followers that are writing very, very, very deep, 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 deep posts about mental issues and about abuse and all that. And sometimes comes like that. Ooh, yeah, I can still feel it, but I don't have the pain. I don't go down on it and so on. But it will never leave me. It is a part of my story, what I have been living.
Hmm.
That So healing is not okay, I will have a happy life now and everything will be away and so on. No, it can still show up and say, okay, yes, I remember. But it's not traumatic anymore in that sense.
Interesting. Yeah, it's never going to go away, but it's just not controlling you anymore. You're in control.
No, it's not controlling. And sometimes I have to say, did I really live all this, Um, it it feels like a story, but I
Hmm.
know I have lived it.
Okay, this is cool. I got another question from another one of the listeners. Have you ever been visited from beyond?
What does that mean? What is that
Sure.
question about?
Maybe from beyond. I don't know. Maybe like someone in another dimension or like the spirit world, maybe.
Yes, I have had many strange experiences. Very. I have had spirits talking to me. Um, one example is when I had broken my kneecap, I was sitting on my couch and I was meditating, and suddenly I hear Ireland 430. What is this about? I don't know anything about Irish story. Ireland is very important for me now, but at that time I had not so much to do with it, and I got a whole story. It explained everything about how Ireland got Christianized, and St. Patrick was there, and I don't know what, and a lot of places. And afterwards, I went to Ireland and visited all the places. And when I was walking in Dublin, it changed between being this very um, vital city, a lot of people, a lot of tourists, and so on. And then suddenly it was landscape, as I saw it in 430. So it was strange. So that is one example. But I have also uh, I was lying in my bed. It was at the time I lived in Brussels, and it was at the time where I was working on my healing because my healing took many, many years.
Hmm.
And suddenly there was a kind of light in my room, and it said, "Please come into the living room." I went up, and then I saw light, and it told me the story of my parents. I had no idea, but it was how you can say I got an explanation of why they had been doing the things they had been doing because they didn't have an easy life themselves. But I didn't know about that. So it contributed to giving me peace. But
Hmm.
as I said before, I have had so many strange experiences that I I I just have to say, okay, okay. I don't try to understand, well, is that a spirit or is it an angel or what is it? I just live it. And I don't know why I have this capacity. I don't know why I'm clairvoyant. I don't know why I'm clairaudient. Uh, I have no clue. It's just how it is. I also have something else. I have an X-ray vision. I can see into my own body. I had an example when I broke my kneecap. I saw exactly what was wrong. I had to see 5 different doctors, surgeons, to get the same view. The,
Wow.
the fifth the fifth doctor, the fifth surgeon I could choose because he saw the same as me. All the others, it was really from A to Z what they came up with. Oh no, it's only a disease, it's nothing, you have not broken anything. So yes. And then when I was sitting one day in the hospital, there was a mother. She was so angry because she was with her son, and she said, "The X-ray is showing that my son has broken his arm. I don't believe it. I simply don't believe it. He just fell in the garden. I can't believe it. And they are wrong," and so on. And I said, sorry, do you want me to look? I don't know if I can, but I can try. And so I looked at his arm and I said, you know what? It's broken there, there, there. But it's not, it's fissures. It's not really broken like that. And she looked at me and she said, that is exactly what the X-ray is saying. I said, yeah. But one thing I have to say, I don't do any medical things because I don't have the background.
Right.
But I
Yeah.
do it on myself, and I have helped myself a lot on this. I had once a client where I saw something very awful, very, very, very awful. Because the energy was so dark, and I knew it was something very bad. I couldn't tell her because I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. But I said to her, will you please promise me you go to a doctor as soon as possible? It's so important. I can't tell you, but you have to do it. And she went and she called me 1 month after and she said, you know what? I think you saved my life. I had the beginning of a cancer. That I know. Because cancer is such dark energy,
Mm.
strong, dark energy. So, yes, but why I have this capacity, I don't know. I absolutely don't know. The last years, there's something else that has come to me, and that is absolutely wonderful. That is, I have some problems in my body, also because of how my mother was treating me. So I have back problems, and I need a chiropractor very often to help me. But what happened lately is the last years is that I can I can have pain, and then I can see image. You should be doing this exercise and this exercise and this exercise. And afterwards, I'm fine.
Hmm. That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's incredible. I've always been fascinated with the spirit world my whole life, ever since I was a kid. And I remember one time when I was a kid, I still remember to this day waking up and seeing something over my bed, and it was just like a white. I don't know what it was, but I don't remember hearing anything. I just ran to my parents' room, but I remember that to this day, which is very interesting. But I haven't seen any spirits myself. I see like orbs sometime, like energy orbs, and my kids, and I've talked to my kids a little bit to see if they can see anything, because I know kids are able to see that stuff, and my daughter says she can see like colored orbs sometimes. So she says like,
Mm.
oh, I can see your spirit guides and stuff. So that's, I kind of normalize that in my house, which is pretty cool.
That's great.
Yeah, it's super cool.
Okay. I just want to do one exercise with people who are listening here.
Hmm.
If when you are not feeling in the best mood and a bit sad or something, put your hands here, close your eyes, and sense your heart. And then imagine lots of small hearts coming into your heart. Feel the love coming in. Feel the warmth and breathe deeply. And feel how your heart is growing, becoming bigger. And sit with this as long as you need.
I love that.
Can you feel it?
Yep, I could feel it. I want to do that for I could do that for a long time, I think. I'll do
Yes.
that. I'll do that later when
It's
I get
so
home.
simple, but it's so efficient. So yes.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Well, Beanatta, we're coming to the end of our time here. Time
I
seems
could
to
have
go.
I could have continued an hour more.
I know. No, we could continue for hours and hours. But before we wrap things up for today, do you have any final thoughts you'd like to share with our listeners? Is there anything that we didn't cover today that you'd like to add?
Uh, there is a lot of things I would say. Um, what I think is important is to be in peace with who you are. That is when you can sense yourself, then you can feel the peace and you can be in peace. It doesn't matter if people like you or not. You are simply who you are. And all that will come together when you are working on yourself, when you are doing mindfulness practice, and when you are simply living your life as you feel it. That's so important.
I love that. That was beautiful. Thank you. That's the story of my life right now. I'm trying not to care what anyone thinks and just be me, because I think we get so wrapped up into trying to please everyone and be a certain person for everybody, we lose track of who we actually are. So yeah, I love that. Thank you so much for saying that. That was amazing. And where could people find you if they'd like to connect with you?
Yeah, but I am on Instagram. So sent by Beanatta. So my name, Bennatta Zen, I think I'm the only one in the world who has this name, so I should be easy to find. And then I also have a website with my name, just Beanatta, and you will find me. So yes, and I wanted to say, if anyone have questions that you didn't ask here, you are welcome to contact me on Instagram, and I will answer as good as I can. I also offer a 1 hour free brainstorm with the purpose to see how can I help you? Can I help you? Do you want to work with me? Because that is important, otherwise it won't work.
Mhm.
So please also do that if you feel that it could be interesting to work with me. And then I would say thank you to you, Jason, for inviting me here. It has been fantastic. As I said, I could have continued 1 hour more. And thank you for all people who has been listening to this. Thank you.
Beautiful. Thank you, Beanatta. And thank you so much for joining us today. That was amazing. And it was so nice to finally to meet you and talk to you in person, although we're over the internet. But and for everyone listening, I'll include Benatta's information in the show notes below, her Instagram and her webpage for anyone that wants to reach out to her on Instagram. Yeah, and that was amazing. Thank you so much. That was
Yeah,
beautiful.
I say thank you.
Amazing. And as always, if you'd like to connect with me, you can find me on Instagram as well at transformative_pathways and also on TikTok at Jason_Dobie. You can find my link tree in the show notes below. It has everything in one place, including my socials, my email list, and access to my private community, The Mindful Path with Jason Dobie. And also just a quick reminder, if you're ready to check in with yourself and get a clear picture of how stress is showing up in your life, don't miss my free 5-minute stress test dropping next Friday, April 25th. You'll get a personalized assessment based on your results, along with support tools and a simple action plan to help you move forward with more clarity and ease. It only takes 5 minutes and it's completely free. I'll be sharing the link in the show notes and all over my socials as soon as it's live. So make sure you keep an eye out for that. And what else? And if this episode sparks something in you and you're feeling called to explore your own inner growth on a deeper level, I invite you to check out The Journey Within, my 12-week coaching program designed to help you break free from stress, self-doubt, and feeling stuck so you can live life with more confidence, clarity, and purpose. Just head over to jasondobie.com or click the link in the show notes for more details. And if you enjoyed today's episode, we'd love it if you could like, subscribe, and follow us on your favorite listening platform. And if you'd like to support the show, we'd be so grateful if you could take a moment to leave a review. It would mean so much to us and also help the show reach more listeners. And again, thank you so much for being with us today, and we look forward to connecting with you again soon.
This has been the Transformative Pathways Podcast with your host, Jason Dobie. Tune in each week for more insights, inspiring stories, and transformative journeys. Until then, keep exploring the path to keep your best self. Saturdays, 3 p.m. Eastern on the Bold Brave TV network, powered by B2 Studios.